I would say we can begin now. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining and to thank our panelists for being here with us today. I want you to meet Hannah Dinkelbach, International Relations and Communication Advisor of the University of Twente, and Eloisa Fattor, student in Industrial Engineering and Management from Italy. Hi, Eloisa. Hi, Hannah. It's a pleasure to have you here. So today in this webinar, we're going to learn about studying in the Netherlands, the country of innovation and endless opportunities. We're going to go through University of Twente's academic offering and discuss with Hannah why the university is placed in one of the most dynamic study destinations in Europe. We will also hear Eloisa's experience in firsthand. She will talk about her journey from Italy to the Netherlands and what it is like studying at the University of Twente nowadays. And of course, you will have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them your questions. After the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask whatever you want to our panelists. So once again, don't be shy and type all your questions in the Q&A section here on Zoom, and we will go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Doc City for this free webinar, stay tuned because we will post the link to get the certificate at the end of the session. So I think, Hannah, Eloisa, that we are able to start now. Welcome to those who just joined, and without wasting any more time, I am now leaving the floor to our panelists for their presentation. Enjoy this webinar and see you later.
And thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for hosting this webinar today. As introduced, my name is Hannah, and I will do the first part of the presentation to welcome you and tell you about the University of Twente. We'll start with sharing my slides. Yeah, so today's webinar is about studying in the Netherlands. The country of innovation and opportunities, and we will specifically introduce the University of Twente to you, our study opportunities, and how can you actually get here. So the structure of the next hour will be first to get you a bit more familiar with the study destination. Then we will shortly introduce our educational programs to you, what we actually offer. I will shortly go into how can you actually get here. So if you're interested in applying, what are the steps to take? Where do you actually start when you want to study abroad? And then also Eloisa will join me and share her student experience from firsthand with you. Before I start, really shortly about myself, I'm originally from Germany, and I came here quite some years back for my master's at this university. So I'm also alumni of the Master in Communication Science. So in that sense, we're here today with student and alumni. We hope that we can answer all your questions so that you can make up your mind after this webinar about your next step in your academic career. Let me start with telling you about the Netherlands as a study destination. So in the Netherlands, there are a lot of good universities that offer high quality of education. Therefore, technical universities, we are one of them, together with Delft, Eindhoven, and Wageningen. The University of Twente is one of the 4 TU. And we offer a lot of engineering, but also social science. I will get to that in a minute. In the Netherlands, it's a very warm and open-minded culture, and they have one of the highest English standards in the world. So you can really expect that you don't have any problems to find your way, to get started. You will find your way around, and it will also be a good first step to offer you good job opportunities afterwards. Either if you decide to stay in the Netherlands and find a job there, or also go somewhere else with your diploma. since we're, especially within Europe, we have this education system that you can also study with your bachelor's that you gain with us at the university for your master's, or the other way around. If you come from another university with your bachelor's degree, you can also study your master's with us. So we will talk about both bachelor and master today. But let's start with locating us on the map. So we have here a map of the Netherlands, and the University of Twente is located in the east in the city called Enschede. You might have heard about it if you're from Germany close by. As you can see, we're right at the border. You can even cycle there. It's 60 kilometers from Münster for those of you who might come from Germany as well. But yeah, it's also really easy to reach any other European city from here. There's some indication of how of the travel times to different cities. So also Amsterdam by train, it's around 2 hours. So it's really well connected. It's easy to reach by different international airports from Schiphol, from Eindhoven, but also from Düsseldorf in Germany. Since the Netherlands is quite small, yeah, you can really travel throughout the country in a day easily. And maybe Eloisa will tell you more about that later, what it's like to travel around in the Netherlands. A bit more about the University of Twente. I already mentioned we're one of the technical research universities. And in our core, what also distinguishes us from others is our approach that we call high-tech human touch. The idea is that we offer very multidisciplinary education and have also multidisciplinary approach to research by combining modern technology with behavioral and social sciences. So within all the programs, students and researchers, they look at like what's really the implication and the impact on society of the things that are worked on, that there are real life cases also in the study projects that are worked on, that there's ethical components of what is actually the effect of the technology that is worked on. So in that sense, that's a bit the core. You will see that back in our program list in a moment. Then we have an education model that we call Twente education model. So the idea is that while it's of course a research bachelor or a research master, so it's a very theoretical study program, it's taught in a very project-based way. So with the idea that you directly apply the theoretical knowledge that you learn and practice, and that you also gain those skills that you will need later on the job market when you finish university and start your first job. And since we're a rather small-scale university with around 12,000 students at the moment, you can expect a lot of personal guidance and support in terms of study advisors, but also career advice. And we're one of the most entrepreneurial universities in Europe. That means that there's a lot of focus on supporting students in creating their own ideas and being able to also follow up on ideas that maybe come up in these student projects, or if you have any idea to start a startup. There's, for example, a startup hub on campus to network with others, to get to really get started on your idea, how to write a business plan, how to find funding. And that resulted over the years in more than 1,200 spin-offs already that were successfully started on our campus. And one of the most famous ones that are well-known ones that you are maybe also familiar with are, for example, Booking.com or Takeaway. And this all happens in our American-style campus. And we're actually the only full-service campus in the Netherlands. That means that on our campus, we have both the study facilities, the research centers, but there's also quite some student housing. There's a restaurant, a hairdresser, a supermarket, like a little bit like a little village. And it's all in a very green and safe park-like environment right at the outskirts of the city of Enschede. But the city center is like 10 minutes cycling, so it's really well connected. This is like one first impression, but we also have a short video in a moment where you can see a bit more. First, we have the research centers. So just to give you a glimpse of the broad scope that the University of Twente is focusing on, from health-related topics to sustainability, AI and robotics, data science. So there are a lot of different research groups and also research centers. We have a world famous nanolab, for example, on the campus. And for example, when you're following your master's, it might also be possible that you write your master thesis within one of these research groups, depending on your interest, of course. And to give you a short glimpse, that the whole idea and about how we teach is that you have really the room to create your own story out of your study experience. That there's room to develop yourself also outside of your studies, and that you graduate with more than a degree, let's say, when you leave us. And I will show you this short video for a moment.
How do you shape your life? There's more to it than hitting the books in the library and studying for your upcoming exams. Do you get excited by the idea of joining a student team? Or would you rather be out there on the field with your friends? The journey of exploring the depths of your possibilities begins with yourself. Every small and big step helping you to reach your goals. The end goal is bigger than a university degree. It is the person you will become through doing the things you find worthwhile. This afternoon might call for a study session or a day spent outside with your friends. The thrill of trying something new or the comfort of your familiar routine. The choices you make in each moment are important to create the next. Every moment is a chance to learn, to share, and to get excited about doing what you do best. So go and chase your passions, your aspirations, your energy, and create your story. Come to the University of Twente, where possibilities are endless.
Then let's look further at the possibilities that we offer. We have 5 faculties: a social sciences and behavioral management faculty, geoinformation science and earth observation, and 3 faculties covering our technological study programs. And let's start with the bachelor programs. We have at the moment 14 English thought programs. If you scan the QR code, you will get to the website to have like a deeper look after today, since we can't go into detail of all of them. But you can already see that we have like the social science programs, like business administration, management of society and technology, which is like public governance, public administration, psychology and communication science. And for engineering, for example, applied mathematics, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, but also multidisciplinary programs. So for example, when you're really broadly interested in engineering and you don't know yet exactly which field to choose, then we offer, for example, advanced technology, which covers several topics. And throughout the study, you can also decide what you want to focus on more, also later maybe for a master. Then business information technology, which really combines business and IT. Also, creative technology contains IT in combination with electrical engineering and design. One of our biggest programs is computer science. So there are really different options, and I'm happy to tell you a bit more about individual of those in case that you have already something specific in mind and questions about that, and we can do that at the end. But for now, it's like to give you a first glimpse about the scope and the programs that we offer. And how are those bachelor programs structured? So I mentioned in the beginning the Twente education model. This is the example of how our bachelor programs look like. So when we divide the year in modules, each year consists of 4 modules. And for, in the beginning, you can always expect in each of the programs like core programs that you have together with all the other students. But as you can see in year 2, there's already room for specialization, and in year 3, room for a minor. So you can really make it your own program where you can, for example, choose to do an exchange semester or to do an internship, maybe follow some classes of another study program, because maybe you figured out during your bachelor's that you're also really interested in another topic that's kind of related. So you can see which courses you can maybe add here. And then at the end, in the graduation semesters, you will write your bachelor thesis. When you graduate successfully with one of the bachelor programs, you can also directly access the related masters. But maybe you also figure out during your bachelor's that you're interested in a bit of a different master. Maybe you started with, for example, electrical engineering, and you want to continue with robotics in your master afterwards. Then you can also check on time if there might be 1 or 2 courses that you can add in addition to study that master afterwards. Just to give you a short glimpse about the flexibility that there is. Our master programs, I won't read them out all. There are more than 36 at the moment that we offer. Also here with a QR code, you can get the complete list, and you can filter there depending on what you're looking for. The social science business programs on the left side that are listed, they take 1 year, which so 60 credit points, ranging from business administration, but also to sustainability and management related programs, health science, public administration, psychology. Or we have the engineering programs, they take 2 years. So here also the structures that in the second year you will write your thesis, maybe together with a company or in one of the research groups that I mentioned earlier. And there are like really plenty of options there. I would invite you to really have a look also on specialization levels, since almost all of those masters offer several specializations. Imagine, for example, you're looking for masters in data science. You might not find it listed here, but we have data science specializations within mathematics, but also within business information technology or within computer science. Or maybe you're interested in AI, then we have specializations within robotics or within mechanical engineering. So depending on your background and depending on the field that you're coming from, those might be integrated in several of those masters, and then you can see what fits you best. Then about application and admission. So, well, today you joined this webinar about studying in the Netherlands. I'm not sure if you have had some look already at how to actually study in the Netherlands. There's one central application system, which is called StudyLink, where you create a profile, and from there you can apply to the different universities that you might be interested in. Of course, first step is to check the admission requirements. Here, usually we require a relevant pre-education for the masters, so that you have like a sort of related bachelor program. For the bachelor's requirements, we ask for your high school diploma. You start your application in the StudyLink, and then you will be guided to our own application system, where we will support you in which documents we exactly need. There are examples. And I think, I added a link here, since you're from all kind of different countries. I invite you to have a look at the specifics for your country, but we have a country list on the website where you can see if your pre-education is eligible for the bachelor program of your choice. And you can also see, for example, for the masters, which topics are very relevant that you have taken them during your bachelor's. For the masters, I would also like to mention that in some cases, like you always apply to the master, but in some cases, the admission committee might invite you to offer you a pre-master. So that's in case that you miss just a certain amount of credit points, and that they say, well, you would be eligible if you take these few classes extra. Then it could be that you get invited to do an extra semester to be able to follow those classes and get the missing credit points. And this is a nice chance also to enter a master in a different country, even if maybe your background is a little bit differently, so you can have a look at that as well. And then in most cases, we require language tests. I see that we have here the scores for the masters. For the bachelors, they are a little bit lower, but we accept the IELTS, the TOEFL, or the Cambridge. There are some exceptions for several European diplomas. So please also here on the website, there's a tool where you can fill in what's your pre-education. It will tell you if you actually need to do such a language test, and it could be in most of your cases that you might not need it for the bachelor's. This is a bit in a nutshell. In case I'm too quick, I'm very happy to elaborate on any of those topics at the end in the Q&A, depending on what you're interested in today to learn more about. Let me show you how our year is structured in terms of deadlines. So you can always start your application from 1st of October on, no matter where you're from, for bachelor's and for master's. And then we work on the admission throughout the year. So you would already know after some weeks if you're eligible or not, and if you get an offer. You can also apply without having received your final diploma yet, so that you get then a conditional offer and you hand in your diploma in summer when you actually graduate from school or from your bachelor's. And then the application deadline for EU students is 1st of July in most cases. There is an exception for our Bachelor in Psychology. Since this is a numerous fixus program, that means that there's a limited amount of seats. There the deadline is always for 15th of January already. So in case that you're looking to start for this year, the deadline already passed, but for next summer, you're fine. Just keep in mind that you have to apply before 15th of January. The master programs, most of them also start in February. So there you can apply twice a year. And then the deadline is 1st of October. The tuition fees for EU students are at the moment 2,600 euros in a year. So the bachelors, they take 3 years, the masters 1 or 2, depending on which faculty. So then you can calculate that based on that. We will also give a short impression about costs in the Netherlands in a moment. And a short summary in case that there's someone joining with a non-European nationality. The deadlines are a little bit earlier, since we also need to apply for your visa in time. There's a bit more documentation necessary. So the deadline is already 1st of May. Or if you want to start a master's in February, 1st of October. So in case for any of you who's still looking for starting a study this year, you're still in time. For non-EU students, I would advise to start as soon as possible. For EU students, you have a little bit more time, but just apply already, and you will know if you can secure a spot. Oh yeah, and the fees I have here for the non-EU student. The Alpha Gamma programs are those from the social science and business faculty, and the Beta programs, the engineering programs. Those were a lot of facts and numbers. I hope that they give a little bit of a first idea what you could expect. And then by that, I will give the word to Eloisa to tell you a bit more about what happens after admission, what can you expect as an international student, and about her experience.
Hello, so I will talk a bit about how Enschede is as a city and how much it costs to live in Enschede, and a bit about my experience. Could you go to the other slide, please? Thank you. So first of all, after you get accepted, really important is find a house. Start early. When I first applied, I started looking for a house in April, May, June, because it's not as difficult as in other cities in the Netherlands to find a house, but it's always better to start early. There are a lot of Facebook groups and other sites like internet sites, for example, Roomspot, where you can find and apply for housing. I found mine on a Facebook group. but there are plenty of opportunities. Then there are also some preparations for like webinars preparation hosted by the UT to prepare you a bit and so you know what to expect in May and in July. And there is also the introduction days kick in, where I really advise you to participate, because if you're like me, that you move there without knowing anybody, the kick-in is a perfect opportunity to meet people and hang out. So then you start a bit your lectures with people that you already know. The people that I met at the kick-in are still one of my closest friends, so I'm really grateful for the kick-in. As well as the kick-in gave me also a bit a glimpse on how life is in the Netherlands and how Dutch people are, and I understood a bit their culture a bit more. Then there are a lot of student associations which permit you to also meet people and they have friends. For example, I play football, which is a study association, and I met also some really nice people there, as well as their study associations. So like they help you with your studies. They provide you like hangout groups. So you meet people that study maybe from the other years and below or above. And they also provide you with like summaries of your classes and stuff like that, which is really nice and it's really helpful. And if you're active as well in studies association, it's really nice for your CV as well, because then you can organize all kind of stuff and it gives you like on hand experience. There are also Dutch classes available on campus and online for people who would like to learn Dutch. I really advise you to at least take A0 or A1 Dutch course, so then you understand a bit the people and you understand also better the culture as well. You have a special discount for Dutch classes if you're a student. And I just finished my A0 Dutch class and I really liked it. And now I will keep going with A1. There are also career fairs and startup hub on campus. For example, the business days or other fairs where you can meet companies and look for internships and already get your contacts and leave your CV, and a bit it gives you an idea how what your job opportunities are later, and it gives you contacts as well. Then annual cost of living, as I mentioned before, finding a house here in the province of Twente, it's a bit easier than in the rest of the Netherlands, and it's also cheaper. Average monthly rent is 550 euros per month. For example, I pay 420. And so this is a bit an overview on what can you expect from the costs of living here in Enschede or Enschede. Book and supplies. I never bought a book, to be honest, but there are available, like you can buy books, but there is always the PDF version as well. Insurance, it's not really needed for EU students, but if you work, you have to get an insurance. But if you're from the EU, you can also use your insurance from back home. Then food, it's 3,500. I never really calculated how much I spend on food, but in general, the groceries here are a bit cheaper in comparison to Amsterdam. And transportation, especially if you go back home, like if you travel back home, you will spend around 1,000 euros. I usually go back home by train, but there is always, the airport is really close as well. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think, from Eindhoven and 2 hours from Amsterdam. You can also take the airport, like you can also fly from Germany. Düsseldorf is not that far away, and it's 3 hours, I think, from Enschede, and it's sometimes maybe cheaper than Amsterdam as well. Then buying a bicycle, if you buy a new one, you can spend around 250. I bought mine for 60 euros. I found it used on Marketplaats, which is a nice it's like an eBay of the Netherlands. And so this is a bit to give you an idea on how much you're gonna spend when you start living here, approximately. Then the city of Enschede, it's not a big city because it's 160,000 inhabitants, But especially at the University of Twente, there are a lot of nationalities. So you will literally meet people from all over the world. My friends are really from all over the world, and it's so nice because you can exchange with a lot of other culture, get to know them, and as well become friends, and then maybe go visit them in their home countries, which is always nice. There are around 26,000 students in Enschede, and around 10,000 live in Enschede, which means that there is a lot going on, and you can always find things to do, especially on the weekend. As it says here, we have 4 cinemas, multiple museums, theaters, restaurants, coffees, and a lot of events. So if you want, you can always find things to do, and you never get bored if you want, of course. For a little city, it has a lot to offer, I would say. Now let's come a little bit to my student experience. I've been studying here for 2 years and a half. I'm in my 3rd year, and I recently started my bachelor thesis. And as you can see here, there is a picture of me playing football. There are a lot of sports. There are over 56 sports that you can practice at the University of Twente. So every sports you can think of, there is. There is also a lot of opportunities to do your minor abroad, so to do an Erasmus, for example, or an exchange abroad. For example, I recently came back from my exchange in Spain. As you can see, the second picture in the middle. It was really a nice experience, and I have a lot of friends too that also went to do their exchange outside of Europe. One went to Singapore, another one to Taiwan, another one to Mexico. So there are really a lot of opportunities to go abroad, and the university helps you as well. And as you can see, the first picture is me during a class. And if you have any questions, you can always text me U20 Italy. This is my working Instagram page, and you can always ask me for everything if you have any other doubts. I'm here. So this was it.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. I think we will elaborate on some of the points in a moment. Let me, before we go to the Q&A, highlight some options for you, since I can imagine it's like a really big decision to choose, like to move abroad, or maybe, which study program actually suits you. So there are like several options that we offer to make up your mind. We have this website here where you can find all the options. Of course, the best way is to stick around and listen to all the questions and ask all your questions. But also, if you ever have the chance to come by to maybe experience it firsthand, we offer campus tours on individual days when you might come to the Netherlands. But of course, also we have online and offline open days. So yeah, please make use of those opportunities. Also, maybe from other universities, to really be able to compare and to know, what suits you best. But I think with that, we're very happy to answer the questions and maybe go a bit in more detail in some of the topics that we crossed up on. I'm not sure if it's me, but I cannot hear you.
Me neither.
Okay, now?
Yeah, now.
Do you hear me now? Okay, sorry. I was saying thank you. Thank you very much, Eloisa and Hannah, for your presentation. Indeed, we have some questions in the Q&A box, and we have also some questions in the chat. Some of them have arrived privately, so I'm going to read them to you and to everyone, just in case some doubts are shared with other participants, okay? So Alex said before he's interested in a scholarship to do a PhD in accounting and finance. Could you kindly assist me? Thank you.
Yeah, about PhDs, I didn't talk about that yet. PhD positions in the Netherlands are usually like jobs. So I can share the career website in a moment, and you can check what is currently available. So that's one way to by applying to a PhD. And the other way is I would invite you to have a look at the website, at the research groups that we have, and see if there's something of your interest, and reach out to the research group by yourself to see if there are any available options. So
Okay, perfect.
I will drop the link in the chat.
Oh, okay, thank you, Hannah. So another question in the chat. Hello, everyone. I am Naveen, Indian, a recent graduate from Hungary. I would like to know whether you have any fully funded scholarship for masters in mechanical, or do you have any engineering program under Erasmus Mundus? Also, do you have a master related to aerospace and or aeronautical?
About the first question with the scholarships, so
Yeah.
we don't have fully funded scholarships from the University of Twente. We have partial scholarships, for example, the UTS, the University of Twente scholarships. Then for visa students, there are maybe also an option from the Holland scholarship, the NL scholarship. I will drop a link in the chat for our scholarship finder that you can really filter based on your background, but also the study that you're interested in for the different options. And then the question was about
the last question. Do you have any engineering program under Erasmus?
I'm not fully sure. But about the aeronautical,
yes,
there's
if you have masters related to aerospace aeronautical.
Yeah, there is a specialization within mechanical engineering. I have it here. I will also drop that one in the chat.
There is a minor where you can take aerospace management and also aerospace engineering, I think, but it's just for the minor. It's not a whole study. It's not a bachelor or a master. It's like a specialization you can do under your study.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move on to the next question. Is there an option for installment payment?
For the tuition fees?
I think
yes.
So. Yes,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and maybe also depends on the background. So students coming from outside Europe, they have to provide a bank statement for the complete first year to show that they can afford the first year. But otherwise, it's possible to pay in installments. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So another person is asking, if I am graduated from an European university, English taught, do I still need to provide IELTS? And which fee will apply for me? The European or non-European?
The fee is based on the your nationality. So and the requirements are based on your pre-education. So in that sense, I will post the link here about the English exceptions. There's like a check box on the website where you can fill in what's your pre-education, and then you can figure out if you actually still need an English certificate or not.
Okay, perfect. Now I have a question from Isaac. He says, hello, I am a final year medical student and I will graduate in the next 3 months. I am interested in pursuing a master's in health science. I would like to know if they offer graduate teaching assistantships.
That's a good question. I'm not fully sure how health science handles that, honestly. Maybe it's best to check that with a program right away, I would say. I can see that I can send a link to the program.
Okay, thank you. Meanwhile, for Eloisa, we have a question for you. What is your main advice for someone that has never lived in the Netherlands and wants to study there? Also, is it the language a difficulty? What was
I
it for
think,
you, Eloisa?
first of all, the language is not a difficulty because majority of the people in the Netherlands speak English. So even if you don't speak Dutch, you can get around everywhere, which is really nice. And everybody has a nice English level as well, also in the city, everywhere. And an advice, it would be maybe the first 3 months, it would be a bit difficult because you have to adapt to the culture, you have to make new friends. So stay strong the first 3 months because then it's really worth it and you will really start enjoying your experience.
Okay, and how was it for you, Eloisa? Because you come from Italy and it's a different culture,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Uh,
I mean, it took me a while to get used to it. The first, as I said, the first 3 months were a bit tough, especially because I was abroad, living alone suddenly, and with my parents really far away. But after the 3 months, once I found my friends, I got adapted to the city. I knew my way around. I really started enjoying their experience, and now I think it's the best decision I made.
okay, and just I'm curious, are you thinking to stay after you graduate?
Yeah, I will do my master's as well.
Wow, okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay, congratulations.
thank you.
Now, Hannah, what is the application process like, and are there any specific deadlines applicants should be aware of?
Yeah, so first of all, have a look at the requirements on the website. Then on our website, there's an eligibility check. So you go to the program of your choice and click on eligibility check. You fill out your pre-education there, and it will give you a first indication if you match the program. And from there, you will be guided to this study link platform where you can create an account. Also, if you like to apply to another Dutch university, you can do that via that same account. So it's like a central system within the Netherlands. When within the system you select University of Twente, you will be guided to our system, and there you can upload all the required documents like your transcript of records. Maybe well, you probably didn't graduate yet by the time of application, then you have to upload your latest grades from school or from your bachelor's. So yeah, then you fill that in. And we advise to apply as early as possible as you made up your mind, because then you can already know within some weeks if you get conditionally admitted, under the condition that you later can still hand in your final diploma. And in terms of deadlines for EU students, it's usually 1st of July. There is the psychology one on 15th of January, and the two programs, mechanical engineering and technical computer science in the bachelor, they have also the deadline on 1st of May because there's some extra matching procedure after that. And for non-EU students, the deadline is always 1st of May, besides psychology, also 15th January.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I have a question that is related to this topic. Francesco says, considering I have to apply for a master in July, if I am getting my bachelor degree in another European country at the end of July, or maybe even at the end of September, can I still apply for September?
Yeah, usually we need all the documents before 1st of September. So if you receive your diploma after September, after the 1st of September, I would recommend you to check in with the admission office first, if it might be still possible in that case. Otherwise, maybe starting in February is an option for you.
Okay, perfect. Now I have two questions that are related. I'm going to ask them both. Okay. Esther asked, how does the university promote a multicultural environment and inclusivity on campus? And then, what support services does the university offer to help international students adjust to life in the Netherlands?
Yeah, I think to start with, we're one of the most international universities in the Netherlands. We have currently 35% from all around the world. So I think, Eloisa, you also mentioned that, right? Like your friends come from all over the world. So also we have official language at the university, Dutch and English. So everything is in both languages. And well, since we have such a big community of internationals, there are a lot of support systems. These study associations that Eloisa also touched upon, it's really with the idea that you can mingle. And there are also a lot of cultural associations, for example, so country associations, but maybe you'd like to tell a bit more about that. I'm not sure if are you familiar with those?
I know a lot of association. We have like a Mediterranean association, so for people that are from the countries from the Mediterranean. There is as well a separate Greek association, Romanian association, Turkish association, Latin America association. So there is a bit of everything, and especially people from other countries. If you find yourself, they usually stick together a bit as well. Like you're never gonna be the only one from your country in the University of Twente. So like, which helps a bit because then you understand each other a bit more.
Yeah, and then there's also a lot of sharing. So, for example, the Indonesian Association, they organize once a year a food festival on campus, and like it's not like you have to come from that nationality to be part of that association, but it's really also about sharing culture with each other. There's also an Indian association, for example, and they organize holy festivals or so that everyone can attend. So yeah, to give some examples of how to mingle with others.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now, another question. Can we have an information about science communication program? Hannah, maybe that's for you.
Yeah, I would check which one exactly is meant with this. The master in communication science, I expect, the one that I followed.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't specify.
No, okay. In case that one is meant, it's one of the one-year master programs, and at the moment they offer, in their structure, so like it's a one-year program, and you will have like half a year of classes where you can specialize or like choose a track. Let's say they offer at the moment social marketing and behavioral change, strategic organizational communication, or society, media, and technology. So you can choose a bit what you're most interested in. And then you will also have a course preparing you to conduct your own research for the second part of the master's. And then you choose a research question that you will work on in the second half year. This to give you a first idea, depending on what you're interested in. We offer like online meetups with current students. So then you can like plan a call with a student that's currently following that program. And I think that's a really nice opportunity to hear firsthand what it's really like to study that study program.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now, hello, I would like to know how the educational approach is in Twente, like if it's mostly frontal lection based or if there are many group works, laboratory or similar. Maybe Hannah and also Eloisa can tell us what's like.
So it's usually the classes are not as big, and you can always ask the teacher for questions later. Usually the professor know your face and if and sometimes even your name. It depends, and there are a lot of group works. So each module, as Hannah mentioned before, that we have 4 modules, and each module you're divided in a group project, and sometimes they also mix studies between groups. For example, in Module 6, we developed a coffee machine, and my studies, industrial engineering and management, worked together with industrial design engineering and mechanical engineering. So they divided us in a group of 9, and we had to develop a coffee machine, each for our own task. So yeah, each module you are going to be in a group, and it's really more practical than other studies, than other universities in other parts of Europe.
Okay.
I think it's really important to be aware that the study program requires a lot of self-study, and that you really have to are in charge of your own study progress as well. Of course, there's support and people you can go to if you run into any difficulties, but it's not like someone takes you by the hand, provides you your complete schedule, and guides you from A to B every day. So that's very important, and that also, will teach you a lot of skills that you will need later as well to work independently and be prepared.
Okay, thank you. And Hannah, how does the university assist students in research job opportunities during their studies?
So if I understand the question correctly, like how?
I think the question would be, how do you help students in the search of jobs while they are studying?
So we have these career fairs that Eloisa mentioned. There's once a year a really big fair on campus where companies from all around the Netherlands come, but also really many from the region that are looking for graduates, but maybe also for students to do an internship with them, or maybe they have a question that they are looking for a student that want to write their thesis with them. Then we have a career center on campus. So there you can go also for personal consultations. If you're maybe not sure, what do I want to work afterwards, they can help you and also guide you in this process. Then there's a really big alumni network. So I think by now we have more than 60,000 alumni all around the world. So when you graduate, you become part of that network. There are social channels to stay in contact with each other that you can reach out to. So, and I think also the individual study programs, the study associations of those programs, they also organize events to get an idea what you can do after your studies, and that they have connections with industry. And maybe Eloisa, I'm not sure if that's already part of the program in the stage that you're in, that you have been in touch with that.
Yeah, I mean, I found my job as well that I'm doing now as well in one of these sites because there is also a site that the university posts for little student jobs. For example, if you want to help for the open days as well, and then they post the request, and that's how I found also my job that I'm currently doing. So for Twente, Italy. And as well as Hannah said, at the campus fair, at like the career fairs, you can find associations or like companies that help students find a side job. So at the business days, you can go there and subscribe to these companies, and then they will help you and tell you the availabilities for student jobs.
Okay, perfect. I think we have no more questions. I saw, Hannah, that you have been leaving some links on the chat. Yeah. I would recommend everyone to check them, and also, of course, to go through the website of University of Twente. In case you have more questions, I think you could contact the university directly through the contact information you have on the website. I see the last question about where to find info on the bachelor programs has been already answered there also. Just in case I say it out loud, just in case the person that asked has not seen it yet. Okay. I would say we are arriving to the end of this webinar. I want to thank you, all of you, for being here, to our fantastic guests for the interesting webinar, and thank you everyone for joining us and for your questions. I would like to remind everyone interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Doc City that you can click on the link that I'm sending in the chat right now, and you can request it, okay? And before we say goodbye, I would like to ask our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message. Hannah or Eloisa? Is anything you would like to add? Okay.
Good luck to everyone for their choices. And hopefully you come here. Maybe see you next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
From my side as well, lots of success with choosing where to go and what to study for your next step. And maybe it's with us, then we're very happy to welcome you on our campus in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Eloisa. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you,
And
folks. Thank
okay, and thank you everyone connected with us today. And I hope you to see soon again in the next webinar organized by Dog City. Goodbye, everyone, and have a nice day or night, depending on when you are. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.